Alrighty guys, we're back for some Rakdos Valet, and this is a March of the Machine, the Aftermath Standard Brew. We're gonna go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat and I play aggro decks and any decks with a red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to ya. Also, we do got that Discord link as well as that brand new Patreon link down in the description if you're interested in joining either of those up. Okay, what do we got packed into the build here? First of all, this was a suggestion down in the comments. Thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one, huh? So we recently played an Oni-Cult Anvil build, and then we played a Gruul Valet deck as well, and now we're combining them together. So Oni-Cult Anvil is a 2-mana artifact rocking Rakdos colors up there. Whenever one or more artifacts you control leave the battlefield during your turn, you create a 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature token. Okay. This ability triggers only once each turn. Now you can tap this, sacrifice an artifact. Oni-Cult Anvil deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. Pretty good artifact, guys, it really is. So we have a bunch of ways to generate artifacts in here with blood tokens like Bloodtithe Harvester being an amazing card, huh? Voldaren Epicure, and don't like think that 1 damage doesn't come in handy because it sure does, man. Then we got Goldhound being an artifact creature. Now it's a 1-mana 1/1 with first strike and menace as well, so that's pretty decent. Then you could tap it, sack it, add 1 mana of any color. That could come in handy. Once again, playing Gleeful Demolition. So it's a 1-mana sorcery speed, destroy target artifact. If you controlled that artifact, you create 3 1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens. Yep, great way to go wide and slam creatures onto the board state while that valet's out there, which honestly, I should have went over next since it's an Oni-Cult Anvil Valet build, huh? So, Devilish Valet is a 3-mana 1/3 with Trample and Haste. It has Alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you double Devilish Valet's power until end of turn. So this can get out of hand very fast. So we want a bunch of ways to just like generate creatures for free on our turn while we're also slamming cards out of our hand, or creatures out of our hand onto the battlefield as well. So what are some of those free ways? Of course, Urabrask's Forge making an appearance as a 4 of here. It's a 3-mana artifact. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you put an oil counter on Urabrask's Forge. Then create an X1 red Phyrexian Horror creature token with Trample and Haste, where X is the number of oil counters on Urabrask's Forge. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. It's going to be really good against like certain control matches and stuff like that because, you know, as they're wiping the board every turn, at least your Forge is growing that Phyrexian Horror every single turn, right? You get a couple of these down, it could wrap up the game pretty fast, honestly. Since we're generating those creatures for free, we have open mana to slam creatures from our hand to just let our valet do the thing, you know? So you have Lagomos, Hand of Hatred. So it's a 3-mana 1/3 legendary creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you create a 2/1 red elemental creature token with Trample and Haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. And you can tap this to search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle, activate only if 5 or more creatures died this turn. So you don't activate that too often, but you never know, it's on the card, so keep an eye on it, I suppose, huh? What else do we got packed in here, guys? Well, we got a single Eater of Virtue. It's a 1-mana equipment, and whenever equipped creature dies, you exile it. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Honestly, not half bad to slam onto that valet. Now it has that 3 power that it'll double at first, right? So like +2/+0 isn't bad is what I'm getting at here. So as long as a card exiled with Eater of Virtue has flying, equipped creature has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. So also works really well with the Goldhound, right? So if you equip that to Goldhound, not only is it a 3/1 First Strike Menace, but if you end up sacrificing it for mana or the opponent inevitably removes it, then Eater of Virtue will exile the Goldhound, and the next thing you plug that Eater of Virtue onto will have that First Strike and the Menace. And the First Strike, by the way, is pretty important to put on that valet because you never know if the opponent has like a First Strike creature that you can't swing that, like, I don't know, 2,000 power valet into, and then the First Strike just takes care of it real quick, you know? Okay, Transmogrant Crown is a 2-mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Whenever equipped creature dies, draw a card. Nice. So you can equip for 2 or just a single black mana. Not bad. Again, it's not terrible to just stack that onto the Valet so that way you're doubling that power a little bit more effectively. But also, it does work with Goldhound really well too, and it works with Oni-Cult Anvil if you're equipping that onto artifact constructs and stuff that you end up sacrificing to the Anvil's ability, then you're keeping your hand nice and stocked up. All these extra artifacts too, you never know when you're just going to end up pinging one of those artifacts with your Gleeful Demolition and generating 3 goblins and then just, swinging in with a valet or two, Okay, getting close to the top end here, we have a single Rebel Salvo. We have 3 equipments in here. I brought this up, I believe, in the last video, honestly. We played with one of Rebel Salvo. Sometimes you just want to do 5 damage to something, man. Creature or planeswalker, that's great. The affinity for equipment isn't half bad, even though we only have 3 of them. And paying 3 mana for this card just isn't bad either, man. Sometimes we want something to lose indestructible. Well, guess what? That permanent loses indestructible until the end of turn, so I think it's just a really solid underplayed card, and any deck that at least has like 1 or 2 equipment, and we have 3 of them in here. So yeah, I like it as a one of. The top end, guys, we're skipping the 4 drops, going right to 5. We have 3 Burn Down the House. This card has been an MVP in so many of my builds. There are so many moments where you're just like, oh man, it would be great. Burn down the house off the top. That might win us the game. And then we see the burn down the house. Like, this card is just such an MVP on so many levels. 5 damage to each creature or planeswalker is terrific. In this deck in particular, we're looking at those 3 devils, though. Paying 5 mana, slamming 3 devils onto the board, doubling the Valet's power 3 times over, and then letting an Urabrask's Forge do it a 4th time, and maybe a Lagomos do it a 5th time is just not half bad, man. So also, squeezed a single Rankle and Torbran in here. So that's a 5 mana 3/4 flying, first strike, haste. So another great one that to attach like the Eater of Virtue to, right? Whatever Rankle and Torbran deals combat damage to a player or battle, choose any number. So we can either have each opponent or each player create a treasure token, and or each player sacrifice a creature, and or if a source would deal damage to a player or battle this turn, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead, which happens to be a really good ability for decks that know how to go wide, right? So Rankle gets in with the first strike damage first, and then you can have everything else that you're swinging in with on the ground gain an extra 2 as well. Kind of a pretty good 5-drop, guys. It really is. Keep your eye on this card as well. Okay, the mana base, guys. Once again, opting for all the dual rare land. I keep bringing it up, but I have been having some issues with 2-color mana bases recently. So yeah, just opting for all of it. Plus, I do think this deck is definitely greedy enough in the mana colors to have all of them, right? Like, all these 2 drops requiring the exact Rakdos pairing could be pretty tricky sometimes. So having all these is probably going to come in handy. We have a total of 24 land, but 2 of them are Crucible of Defiance, which the double legendary could hold us up sometimes, but just being able to generate spirits is going to come in handy way more than you would think. You can kind of think of that as the 4-drop of the deck, right? And then double the Valet ability twice, right? So we got the Mycosynth Gardens in here too. Tap it to add a colorless, or pay 1, tap it to add 1 mana of any color. And then the bottom ability is X, tap it. Mycosynth Gardens becomes a copy of target non-token artifact you control with mana value X. Nice. So this is a great way to target an Oni-Cult Anvil, for example. Having a couple of those on the board definitely doesn't hurt anything, because then whenever you activate like the sack ability on an artifact, then you create a couple constructs, because both anvils pop off, right? And then same concept with the Urabrask's Forge. Do you just copy that Forge? That's pretty cool, right? So I think it's going to be worth the one of. We also have an Abandoned Mire, heavily leaning towards the red mana, because the deck is heavily leaning towards red. Really, realistically, just splashing the black for some of these Rakdos cards. But yeah, double black and Rankle too, so keep an eye on that. Got some honorable mentions over here, guys. Not going to take too much time going over them. Reinforced Roni could have been a cool one for this build. And cards like Blazing Crescendo and like Furious Blow and other things that like buff the Valet could be pretty good. And Furious Blow is one that actually gives it's a +3/+ though, and first strike, and you get a scry. Honestly, it doesn't look that bad, does it? And the first strike on the Valet could really come in handy. Thought about Rao's reinforcements, of course. A Magmatic Sprinter could have been cool with the 4 Urabrask Forge, but just not enough oil in the deck, I would say. And then, of course, Ob Nixilis could have been a really cool one as well. I think we played all 4 Ob Nixilis in our Oni-Cult Anvil build, but not this time around, huh? We have a lot of other 3-drops to try out. All right, guys, I believe that's everything. Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game here. Yeah, of course we do. What you bring it to the table, opponent? Also, what am I expecting from the build? A little bit of jank, but I think it can be very explosive, man. So, opponent goes first. Okay. Give it a shot. Not a bad hand by any means. Oh, oh no. Oh no. Oh, they went first, guys. Oh no. We are probably in trouble. Selesnya Enchantments is insanely fast right now. And they just got these lines of play where they gotta get so unlucky to not pop off. It's insane, you know what I mean? So Rebel Salvo has a couple turns to still pick up the Visitor when it comes time, so take the 4 for now. Hopefully we can hit that Visitor successfully. Uh-oh. Haunted Ridge being a little bit slow here. We're just gonna go into Crown, I guess. Swing for 1 or keep an emergency blocker. Since they have Trample anyways, we might as well swing. And Selesnya Enchantments doesn't have like haste or anything, so getting the Crown down makes the Rebel Salvo cost 1 less too, which is sweet. Ossification. I guess they want to pick up the Epicure. I guess they wanted the extra counter on the Visitor too. Salvo hitting Visitor, the Audacity replaces itself. Mycosynth Gardens isn't bad. Honestly, like, the Harvester for the turn isn't bad either. Except we don't have double black on the board, so we won't be able to use the Crown. Yeah, the mana base really didn't line up very well here for us right now for the first game. If we go Forge, we could start getting counters on that, but we're probably going to die to the Visitor in like 2 turns then. If they get it above 5 next turn, then uh-oh, right? Because they could drop Visitor number 2. You know what? Let's risk it. Let's risk it for the turn, huh? Oh man. I think, see, the thing is, whenever we do like a particularly risky plays like that, there's a moment in the match where it's like, okay, it's over in 2 turns anyways. What could we do? Okay, and Calyx doubles down on the Audacity probably, because the Ossification doesn't have anything to pick up here. Audacity onto the Calyx, and then Calyx is enough to pick it up next turn. Oh wow, Eater of Virtue. Isn't half bad, huh? Burn down the house would have been insane. Unfortunately, even if we went first, there was no guarantee of seeing the 5th mana on time either. But like Eater of Virtue here, make the Rebel Salvo cost 1 red. We do have a blocker, so it depends what they end up doing. Rebel Salvo has instant speed as well. Honestly, I mean, we swing. It's not like that has lifelink or anything. Okay, yeah. Since we have the 1 red open, we cheese the 2 through. We take out the Calyx, that's probably better, and we probably do it now, right? Before they have protection open or something. Unfortunately, they still win next turn because of the trample. And they draw off the Audacity too, so... Yeah. So all they got to do is play 1 enchantment and then swing. That maybe could have lined up a little bit better. A little bit faster plays early on. Haunted Ridge being particularly slow often for me. Again, I think we want all 4 of them though. In this deck in particular, I do think we want all 4. As slow as it could be. Drop the GGs. Selesnya Enchantment still looking just terrific, man, on every level. Oh, buddy. Urabrask's Forge. If I would have played it in a different order, I don't think it would have affected much, guys. I liked the risk playing it out for the turn to get some extra counters on it and everything, too. I'm not convinced that actually affected the game at all by playing it out that turn early instead of going for removal, because the Calyx was coming down right after the fact. And the Salvo still picked it up regardless. Seeing how good Salvo is, maybe we want 2 of them in here. There's so many moments where you gotta do 5 damage, man. And there's actually plenty of cards that give indestructible as well, too, so it depends. Alright, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? More Selesnya enchantments? I'm down for some revenge. Ooh, okay. See, the legendaries might hold us up. We go first. I think we'll see more land off the top. It's not terrible either when we have Goldhound and the Eater of Virtue for next turn. Like, the treasure on the Goldhound could be the black source that we need anyways. We could ramp right into Forge next turn instead of Eater of Virtue, but I think Eater of Virtue is a little bit better. Yeah, you know what? Popping that right now with the cut down. Good play, opponent. Not waiting the turn. I think that was completely fine, man. Okay, Haunted Ridge. There we go. Now the question is, do we just want to go Crucible, get 2 things down? Probably. Probably. And then Haunted Ridge next turn into Urabrask's Forge is not bad. Gain some life. Nice. Bloodtithe Harvester is great. Might just go Forge, though. Yeah, get the ball rolling on the Forge. Unfortunately, Golgari Colors has plenty of ways to take care of artifacts. Terra Sunder, I'm looking at you, Terra Sunder. That is a terrific card, and they might have a 1-of in here easily. Cut down on the Epicure. So far, just 2 cut downs from the opponent. But yeah, Golgari Colors picks up artifacts easily, so we'll see how long this Forge sticks around. Rebel Salvo, okay. I like the hand. I don't want to like trade out Crucible for the blood token or anything. So it's probably just swing. See if they probably just take the 2. Wow, risking like a play with fire, I guess that's fine. Or calling our bluff is probably what's going on there. Then we'll equip the Harvester. Might as well. We actually could have equipped the Phyrexian Horror to get damage through. Wait a minute. No, we couldn't have. This is at the beginning of combat on your turn. And this would be Sorcery Speed. Equip only as a sorcery. Uh-oh. Stuck at 2 mana. Well, 3 with the Scrap Gorger. Mycosynth Garden? Dude, copy that Forge? What do you guys think? That's a good draw. That's a great draw. X is 3. We do it before combat to get the oil counters going. We'll keep the Bloodtithe Harvester at 5-2. Very nice. I love seeing that Mycosynth Gardens coming into play here. Go for the throat. Okay, exile the Harvester. We don't get any abilities for the Harvester, unfortunately. But hey, it's a creature out of our grave that can't be picked up by like their Trespasser or something, so I guess that's a thing. And we don't care about having stuff in the grave in this deck. We would if we had... Wait, do we care at all? Is there any card in here that cares about having stuff in the grave? If so, the Eater of Virtue kinda, sorta. doesn't work well. I don't think so. I just went over the deck. You'd think I'd be able to just quickly think of what cards are in here, but Scrap Forger, Scrap Forger. Sure. Blockers for days, man. We're probably gonna pick one of those up with the salvo. Oh, Oni-Cult Anvil, that's good. That's good, guys. We go Anvil. Do I want to pick one of those up? This one's about to be a 3/3 too. I think I'd rather take out one of the blockers. No, probably not. It depends. I'm gonna start. I think we're gonna go Anvil and just swing with our Forge. Crucible still just sticking back for the sake of being creatures here. Then on our turn, we want to get that 1/1. Taking 4 down to 10. We might have a good chance here, guys. Take care of a blood token down to 9. Get a 1/1 and equip the Eater of Virtue to the 1/1. Not bad. It really, really isn't, man. These Urabrask's Forge getting out of hand. Like a couple more turns with these if they don't take care of them. Especially since they have Trample, we could instant speed a salvo when they think they're going to survive the block. Well, they definitely have mana for anything. seven total here. This might be... I mean, it's Golgari Fight, probably, right? I think those are the ones that run Scrap Forger. Shieldred, it's non-token, right? So nice. That's still a great card to get down. Because it's a 4/5, so it blocks really well. But Rebel Salvo, huh? And if it was the Fancy Pants Shieldred, then we'd still be able to take care of it. So I wonder where their blocks end up being here. Keep the Salvo back. Full swing, see what happens. Even so, we should just take care of this before combat, huh? Because they have 2 mana open, technically. So we should do this before we swing with the Forge. Or before they block, I should say. But yeah, no, this is fine. It's looking great, but it looks like the opponent had a really slow start, man. This Scrap Forger is going to be able to get to a 3/3 if they tap it down for the turn. So it will be able to trade with our 3/1, but we're going to generate another one with the blood token. And the trade is fine. Taking 5 here. Trading the 3/1. Okay. I wonder if we play this other Crucible and get rid of this Crucible and get the Harvester down. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we play it slow. And I think getting more creatures down right now might not actually be the answer we're looking for. Okay, a couple Scrap Forgers gone. Get the 1/1. Sacrifice. We can do that at instant speed, so we can do that on their turn as well. We won't get the 1/1, but still, it's something. I'll use this, equip it. Alright. Yeah, we probably end up getting rid of the blood token. Yeah, these Forges, man. Having 2 of them, thanks to the Mycosynth Gardens, is insane. It puts on a lot of pressure if they can't get rid of them. And it looks like we might get there. It depends. Like, if they could hit our creature and one of the Forges, like the big Forge, Ix's Command. They needed to use the Scrap Forger so they won't get the lifelink on the command. Well, they did return up to 2 creature cards from a graveyard to your hand. Each opponent sacrifices. So I guess that's that, huh? Good game, opponent. We just let the Urabrask's Forge do the thing. Yeah, good game. We had the Crucible of Defiance open thanks to the Haunted Ridge too, so we could have got those guys down. And then also, we still could have used the Oni-Cult Anvil and got rid of like the Eater of Virtue too if we were still a little bit short. That was a good one, guys. That was good. I'm pretty satisfied with that. All right, let's go into the next one, huh? I guess the only thing that would make me more satisfied with that game, like, because everything played out really nicely, the only thing that would have made it feel a little bit better was if the opponent would have gotten stuff down in a little bit of, like, what am I getting at? I feel like they got unlucky is what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? Like the triple Scrap Gorger, but then they didn't really see much outside of that top-end Shieldred. Opponent goes first. Hey, we got Valet in hand finally. All right, let's give it a shot, man. Let's give it a shot. I don't think this is necessarily a mulligan hand. Mirex. Okay, we got Crawling Chorus. Good draw. Dude, let's do this. Like, let's actually do a thing with Valet today, huh? I like that Rankle, but we're probably a few turns away from it, because we're probably not going to see... We'll let them get the Toxic Ball rolling, I guess. Because I think we can outpace them. Swing. They got nothing open over there because of the type of mana, so... Harvester comes down. Probably still play Valet, even though it's not going to do anything fancy. Unless we see, like, Forge off the top, we'd want to get Forge down first, obviously. Annex, pick up the Harvester. Annex blocks really well, too. Alright, 2 poison. Goldhound's pretty good. Remember, Goldhound doesn't have haste, so... we can't play it, then tap it immediately and play, like, Epicure to buff the Valet twice or anything. Or... yeah, that's not how it would have lined up, but you guys know what I mean. Or you guys know what I'm getting at. I'm gonna get the Valet down and just, like, sit here. At least Valet blocks the Crawling Chorus really well. And a second Annex Sentry would, of course, be, like, worst-case scenario, but... there's plenty of other worst-case scenarios against Selesnya Toxic. All the different Selesnya decks looking terrific, man. Having a couple 1-drops in hand is fine and dandy, but I'd love to see, like, I guess, like, mana off the top, second Valet into our Goldhound or something would be pretty good. Skrelv's Hive, nice. Full swing. Moop, okay. They're actually gonna hold back for the turn. Oh, they have something else to play too. Audacity. Dude, nice. Okay, well, that does in fact trade with the Valet now. Good play, opponent. That was awesome, actually. Second Valet into Goldhound. Now they're just 2/3s, and they trade with the Chorus. The Chorus gives them a Phyrexian Might, and the Audacity draws them a card. Now it's really bad, isn't it? Okay. How do I want to do this? We could trade out with the blood token too. Trade out Rankle, see what happens. We wait the turn. They get another 1/1 with the Skrelv's Hive. I apologize, opponent. I am thinking, buddy. I think we start with the trade and then just play the second Valet. It's a little silly. We might find mana and then, like, Rankle would have been really good. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. I think, like, just looking for more and being able to play 2 creatures next turn for the sake of the Valets is better than just... yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. At this point, we're trying to set up for something, kind of like the opponent was doing last turn. We're trying to set up for something huge. So, like, trading out, maybe finding, like, a Gleeful Demolition or something else. Or now that we have the 5th mana, we could see a Burn Down the House off the top, which at this point... okay, that's not good, is it? So we can successfully block here unless they have Seat of the Empire in hand, which would feel bad. Then I guess we just take 4. Never mind. If they have a Seat of the Empire, then it's heavily leaning towards them once they get rid of one of these valets, right? But if, like I said, if we see Gleeful Demolition, burn down the house, anything else in the deck other than land, right? Like, I think we actually might have a good chance next turn. We have 2 valets, 2 1-drops in our hand. Yeah, no, I like this. Audacity? Nice, okay. Goldhound. They're at 17, guys. If we triple down, right, it doubles to 2, then it doubles to 4, then it doubles to 8. We have 17 on the board total. And they have 1 blocker back. Now we have 4 here. They definitely block. They draw off the Audacity. So we start with the trade of the Haunted Ridge, because we could still find a Gleeful Demolition, or an Urabrask's Forge for that matter. That also could be really good. 2, we have 4 poison, we gotta be careful, and we're at 12 too, so they find another Slaughter Singer next turn. Alright, as good as Forge is, we have to take action this turn because we need that Slaughter Singer off this board state. Right, so going down to 11 here. Alright, full swing. They are forced to block one of the valets to take 2 less because they're at 16 now. We have 16 between the valet and an extra one from the Epicure. So they take 2 less. Oh, the lifelink, guys. The lifelink from the Skrelthive, too. So they're back up to 5, actually. But yeah, they were forced to block, which was the important... That was the key factor there. And then the first strike on the Goldhound, too. So again, Gleeful Demolition off the top could be insane. Back down to 4 because, yeah, they're getting pinged for 1 damage every turn. Yeah. So bottom ability on Skrelthive is corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, creatures you control with Toxic have lifelink, which obviously can be a huge game changer. Rock Priest, okay. I was going to say another Slaughter Singer would be really bad, but it doesn't look like they have a second one. See, Goldhound's first strike might actually do a thing here. Attempt it. Okay. Nothing fancy from the opponent's hand there, just first strike Goldhound getting the job done. Is it just another full swing? We don't know what's in their hand. They have 2 cards. Urabrask's Forge is pretty good. Goldhound is fine. We do it before combat because it affects the valet. That's the scary thing, right? If they actually have spot removal for valet. Buffing it to 2, getting it to a 4-3. We're just full swinging because they're taking another damage here. They got plenty of lifelink, but I think we just go, man. I think we just go, huh? Like, this just... It's not looking great if we let them have more turns. We could have traded out the Forge, and if we found the Gleeful Demolition, popped a Goldhound. But with 3 mana open, spot removal isn't unheard of in Selesnya Toxic. Yeah, Seat of the Empire. So they did end up having it, guys. So they have a successful block with Rot Priest and Annex Sentry onto the Goldhounds. They're taking 2. They're gaining 5. They can't block with this guy here. Huh. Let the Goldhounds through. Crawling Chorus back up to 7. Crawling Chorus gets them a 1. Draw card. Forge. Down to 6. This lifelink's rough, dude. This lifelink is really rough. Oh no, we might die this turn. If they remove Goldhound, full swing and then have a way to target their creatures, we might just straight up die this turn, guys. Oh my goodness, second Slaughter Singer. Oh crap, dude. Oh crap. Yeah, no, it's over. The lifelink from the Skrelv's Hive is incredible, huh? Back up to 14. Darn, that was really close. That was really, really close. You know what we could find, though? No, not this time around. I was gonna say burn down the house. Wait, we still have a blood token. Might as well. We could find the burn down the house, man. We could. Because Goldhound. Gleeful Demolition, you are a couple turns too late. How dare. Aw, man. Well, it is what it is, I guess. At some point, that Seed of the Empire was going to take out the Valet anyways, you know? So, it does help us block a little bit. The Menace does get through if we wanted to do that. But no, probably not, huh? We save the Goldhounds back as blockers as well, and then let the Urabrask's Forge swing in, because it's a 2/1, so they can't, like, they would have to trade with the Slaughter Singer. So back down to 11. If we, like, by some miracle survive next turn, which I don't think is possible, then there's still a possibility of seeing the burn down the house off the top. We'd get, like, Harvester back and stuff. Full swing. Actually, we are alive here, aren't we? Unless the Rot Priest does a thing. Unless they target something too. They could... Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the blockers. So we chomp, 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 chomp. 2 down to 1 and 9 poison. We literally could not be closer to the brink of death than 1 health and 9 poison. I don't think that's ever happened before. Like I said, 1 card, activate Rot Priest. Actually, target 1/1, never mind, they would have had to do that before combat and we could have chumped that one. We're alive! And it's Oni-Cult Anvil. Oh, also, we didn't have 5 mana for a burn down the house anyways. Oh, man, dude. The lifelink just pulled them back. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You can also use, like, the Oni-Cult Anvil on itself, too. So we could do that instead of, like, hitting the Forge or something. 37 minutes in, guys. I think we have time for one more. I do. And you know... As funny as this game is, this one actually gave me a little bit of faith in the build, because not every deck you're going up against is going to get lifelink like crazy like this did. Seemingly out of nowhere, right? But we knew it was coming from the Hive eventually. A little bit of a different order here, like seeing the Gleeful Demolition on the turn that we had the double Valet. Good game opponent. Let's give him a summertime emote, huh? Love this one with Karn. We'll block the Slaughter Singer. I like the double Audacity. Those were sick. That's pretty good. Good game opponent. It was fun. With the 3 burn down the houses in the deck too, at 42 cards remaining, so it wasn't like a terrific chance of seeing the burn down the house anytime soon, but if we would have seen it while we had the extra mana from the Goldhounds on the board, then I think that could have started leaning back towards us again, since wiping the board is completely fine when we have the Forge on the board too, so yeah. Let's try to get one more in, guys. Fun time so far. Thank you again for the suggestion in the comments, right? So yes, comment suggestions aren't going anywhere regardless of the Patreon. It's just if you are a patron, I am far more likely to use your suggestions. And that's what I've been calling the main appeal of becoming a patron, right? We have a special section in the Discord for patron suggestions. It's been a fun time so far, guys. It's going well. Pretty slow. I don't want to call it slow. We got 2 1-drops, but like, you guys know what I mean. Like, there's nothing to really go into after this, but I do think it's also a fine hand. Starting with the Rampant Goldhound, we could easily see one of our 3-drops, which could be worth it. Sleeper, okay. Oh, some form of Mire over there. Swing on through with that Menace, drop the Epicure. It's not bad. It's not bad. In a couple turns, we'd ramp with Goldhound into Rankle, which would be really good, actually. No blocks, and they're going to keep the 2 open for probably a go for the throat, honestly. Oh, underdog, okay. Like Mire tempo? It could be, guys. Tempo builds have been absolutely just incredible for me. So I would not doubt that that is Mire tempo over there. Doing this before combat, I guess finding a 2-drop wouldn't be bad. Yeah, trading out some of the lands just isn't terrible. Gonna keep the Epicure as a chump blocker, even though we probably won't chump. Also, swinging into the underdog would have been silly, because they probably wouldn't have played around anything in our hand or anything like that. Alright, I'll take the 4. They probably activate Sleeper once and then keep that Go for the Throat open that I'm thinking about. Go for the Throat does hit the Rankle, which would be a little sad. Especially if we sacrifice Goldhound to get the Rankle down. Probably not the best bet, huh? The Crown's pretty good, man. The Crown's decent because then if we attach it to the Goldhound and use the Goldhound next turn, then at least we'll get the draw from it, right? I don't think we die next turn, and there might actually be a good chance of keeping up pace. Go for the Throat doesn't hit the Goldhound too, because it's an artifact creature. It doesn't look like a cut down. All right, and if they did cut down, then the Crown would plop a card into our hand, so nice. It's a lot of land so far, but dude, it's like Mire tempo, and it's so cool. I love it, opponent. I love it, man. Yeah, like I said, tempo's been doing really well for me, and I've just been having a blast with it, so seeing a flash creature and stuff, yeah. Dude, let's go. Trespasser, this looks disgusting. This looks disgusting, dude. What on earth? Okay, Rankle, Goldhound. We're dead like next turn. Oni-Cult Anvil would have been good earlier. At this point, it's a little late, I'd say. One, two. All right, wait. We got 4 on the board, 3 in the air. That's 7. Plus the other 2 and the other 2, so 11. We could sacrifice. They probably ditched the Mastermind. Treasure token wouldn't be bad. Oni-Cult Anvil next turn. I think we're dead. Let's get a full swing in here. This is a pretty fun full swing. Worst case scenario, cut down from the opponent's hand. What ends up happening if we full swing, if they block like the Epicure with the Trespasser, is it does 2 extra damage, so it actually trades. And then because, you know, Goldhound has... Well, something's open here. It might just be the Sleeper. Like, we could keep this back as a blocker, but... Nah. Oh, it is going to be the cut down. Well, let's see what we trade out here. And they get a draw too, since we drew on the Crown. Crucible, okay. Well, hey, we got the trade on the Trespasser. So, yep. Each player creates a treasure token. Actually, we don't need that, do we? And sacrifice a creature. If I sacrifice a creature... we lost the Goldhound. So we'd have to get rid of Epicure. So the trade on the Trespasser is better, but then they have 7 on the board next turn because Sleeper buffs. Tough business, dude. And if we sacrifice the Rankle, you know what? I guess we do. I guess that's the only path of survival. Sacrifice a creature. Oh, they can just sacrifice the Trespasser, though. So either way, either way. Oh, they can blitz the underdog back, but then they don't have the... Oh, and because Torbran was gone, we didn't get the +2 ability. Crap. Hey, yeah, good game, opponent. That was, there were some interactions to think about there, guys. Rankle and Torbran is one, we don't see it often. I don't play with it often. But yeah, Torbran was gone, so we didn't get the extra +2 damage to take out Trespasser. So either way, they had the damage they needed to win the game there. So I guess if we had another creature to sacrifice instead, so had we seen like the Oni-Cult Anvil a little earlier, get some of those constructs rolling or something. Yeah, we didn't draw really well there, honestly. I sound like a broken record, but I feel like we got unlucky. All right, let's go ahead and go over the deck here again. Pretty fun, pretty like great suggestion. You guys really like Valet as much as I do, if not more, right? You guys really like Valet, so all 4 of them, I still like it. It's awesome, dude. It's really fun. It's just so much fun to build around. Forge was great. I think we need to look into Rankle and Torbran a little bit more. We played, I think it was a Rakdos mid-range. It might have been something different with Rankle as like a 1 or 2 of, and then we had like the whole burn down the house nonsense to work with the devils with Rankle, and there was actually a lot of different synergies with Rankle and Torbran in that build. But it wasn't like a deck completely based around them, and maybe we should look into it, huh? I don't know. There seems to be like something there. But being 5 mana, that's why it's only a 1 of on the top end. A 1 of 5-drop on top ends are completely fine, because more often than not, games go on a little bit longer than you would hope as an aggro player, so you end up seeing the mana anyways. And with all the extra ramp in here too, between like the Goldhounds and stuff, then it was completely fine. The extra draw power on the Transmogrant Crowns as well. The life gain off of Anvil, letting you survive a couple extra turns or anything like that. Realistically, you're probably going to get to 5 mana sooner than later. So yeah, 1 of. I like it. And I wouldn't go up to 25. I think the 24 is completely fine. Yeah. The Urabrask's Forge was really good, but you can kind of see in some of those matches where it's like, it's literally, it's do or die. And Urabrask's Forge comes into your hand, and you're like, well, that's not doing. And so what ends up happening, you die. But other than that, when you do get it down, and I'll tell you what, man, Goldhound turn 1, turn 2 Forge is actually kind of insane. It like, just getting those counters rolling early on, like you think people are playing more artifact removal than they are, but then it's actually just really hard to remove this artifact, right? Most of spot removal is just pinging creatures. It's just 4 go for the throats, 3 cut downs. When you're not seeing that, it's just burn from mono red, right? When you're not seeing that, it's like Fateful Absence and stuff like that from mono white. We don't see too much mono white mid-range anymore. And then on that note with white, you have the board wipes and everything, which doesn't affect Forge. I feel like Forge might actually be in a good position. The question is all 4 of them the good position? And it might actually not be. So maybe 3 or 2 I could see. And what would you go up? I don't know. We did see that the legendaries on Crucible held us up that 1 game, but not too bad. It wasn't bad at all. Realistically, just keeping it in hand as an extra piece of utility to drop spirits was completely fine. I still think 2 of is worth it. Mycosynth Gardens, man, I wouldn't go up to 2. I think the 1 is definitely worth it, though. If you go up to 2, you're going to have some issues at some point just casting out Oni-Cult on 2. Same thing with Harvester. Harvester, I would have liked to see do more today. As powerful of a creature as this is, it felt like it didn't do too much, but that's because it has a pretty good spot on, or target on its back, right? And the blood tokens ended up coming in handy, as they always do. Blood tokens is like such a cool mechanism that the game added, man. I love blood tokens. Anything like that, any little like token generation on the side. Like I love treasures too, so you know what I mean? I like that stuff. So yeah, blood tokens is awesome as always. Gleeful Demolition, Wish it would have seen a little bit more of those today. I think going wide with them too. Obviously working really well with the Rankle with the go wide strategy. We didn't get to see Lagomos. I still think it's worth the one of, probably, right? So to recap, what would I do? I would drop 1 or 2 Urabrask's Forge. Maybe just go up removal. You know, everyone else is playing removal. And if we would have found like a go for the throat that isn't in the deck, right? Then hitting like that Annex Sentry in that game against Selesnya Toxic would have been insane, right? So dropping a Forge or 2, going up 1 or 2, go for the throats, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. It's probably just going to make the deck much better and more consistent. So yeah, guys, hey, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.